to be caught. Here I come now, let's play hide and seek. Riding on the playground, no one dares to make a sound. Round and round and round and round, no one wants to be first found.
Good morning to you. Hi, you guys. Hey, I just hope you're doing great. I'm doing pretty good. It's raining, but which is kind of nice. It's been really hot, so the rain is always welcome, you know. And I love the rain. I just don't like it when it's like month after month after month. You're like, oh, give me some sunshine. But with that said, it's cleansing the world right now, and God knows needed some cleansing in that courtroom with these narcissistic people up on the stand. So I'm going to bring to you definitions of word salad, and I'll probably just pop it in before a certain part in this courtroom fiasco. Poor Anne, man, she keeps her head on straight. I'll tell you what, she's amazing, actually. I would have wanted to jump over the desk and, yeah, you know, but she didn't, and that gives the defense the upper hand, in my opinion. But with narcissists, you just never know what's going to happen, and you can't foresee the future with a narcissist. The only thing you can do to get rid of a narcissist is no contact. Don't ever talk to them again. Don't talk to their friends. Don't talk to anybody they know. So in this case, this cannot be done, right? Oh, I also want to tell you that this image of Bigfoot on here, a friend of mine paints these t-shirts, and he does all different kinds. So I'll be putting them, you know, adding them to the parts where I'm going to be talking. Yeah, they're glow in the dark, and they're just hilarious. He's got some really good ideas. So anyway, with that said, I am going to read you something about the narcissist. Why do narcissists use word salad? It's because they are manipulators and purposely twist any conversation to maintain control over the other person and deprive them of a voice. The narcissist uses the word salad when they are confronted with something that they do not want to talk about, or if they are being called out. I want you guys to make a note and look at the judge's face. Watch his face when this whole thing's going on. He is just as confused as she is. But she pulls it off, man. I'm telling you, she does such a good job. I love to watch the judge on this. It cracks me up.
In the report that I just got today, there's a reference to another cast viz session and some screenshots. What is that about?
I believe you're talking about just the regular 48 hours folder.
I don't know. I'm curious.
So that I provided two folders. One was cast viz, and one that was just my last name of Mowrey. That was to differentiate the files that I found that were divided to me, and the folder of the files that I use to create this report.
Okay. Cast viz is the files that you found while preparing.
Correct.
And the one that says Mowrey is what you used to create your May 3rd report of 2023.
Yes.
Okay. I think I understand that now. In that file, I think your report said you found screenshots dated April 19th of 2023.
Yes.
All right. Does that mean that's the day that you put things into your CastViz program?
That was the day that I made the screenshots themselves.
Okay.
How do you deal with word salad? Focus on the original problem. Word salads are meant to confuse you enough to drop the actual problem or question. As they rage and spew nonsense, keep focusing on your problem or question so you can calmly say, get back to the original topic. Don't appeal to their better nature.
Where are those screenshots now? Are those also included on the drive?
Yes,
Okay. And then your report dated 5/3 says that you were asked to examine the record. So I'm a little confused if you had something that you took screenshots of on 4/19, but on 5/3 you were asked to examine the record. What were you doing on 4/19 or before to get those screenshots?
so I was tasked, the date was May 3rd for the report. It's not the date that I asked.
Okay. What day were you asked to do?
I do not remember. I'm gonna guess that it was somewhere around April 19th. Because that's when the screenshots were created.
Okay. Let's talk about that time frame then and what you did. Did you actually use a CastViz program at that time to create something?
Yes,
The CastViz program that you used at that time, and we're talking about springtime of 2023, we'll call it April for now, if that's fair. What training had you received by then to do this CastViz program?
the 2019 training.
Okay. With the CastViz program, what's the first thing that you did?
Once the program is open, you can drag and drop the CDR records into the program.
CDR means call detail records.
Right.
Did you do just 48-hour records or did you do full records in April of 2023?
I only did 48-hour records.
When you put the records in, those are the call detail records, and those relate to what?
To the phone that the records were coming back to.
The number you associated with Brent Kohberger.
Right.
Okay. After you put those call detail records in, do you have to do anything with cell towers?
With the AT&T, no, because the cell tower locations are in the AT&T CDR.
Okay. So you put that record in, the tower locations are already part of the call detail record that you put in.
Yes,
Is that something that you have electronic on your computer and then you open your CastViz program and just import it into the program?
yes, AT&T provides both PDF and text documents of the files, and I use the text document to put into CastViz to have it adjusted.
And when you do that, what gets exported?
Nothing. At that point, nothing is exported or created that I know of.
Can you export the session that you're working on?
You can export a session log, yes.
Did you do that?
No.
What makes a narcissist panic? While it may be uncomfortable to confront a narcissist, speaking up and pointing out their flaws can leave them stunned. Criticism challenges their belief in their own superiority, leading to a profound sense of panic and vulnerability.
How did you create screenshots?
By using the built-in Windows snip tool, as well as the built-in Windows game console, or they call it the game bar, which is just accessed by hitting Windows G, that allows you to record your screen.
Are those the only two things you did, is screen clip and screen record?
Yes,
How many times did you use call detail records in the CastViz program?
probably a dozen times. I'm not entirely sure.
That was a terrible question. How many times did you use the CastViz program in relation to Brian Kohberger's call detail records?
I don't know.
More than once?
I recall doing it for the grand jury because I wasn't the main lead in the call detail records investigation.
I don't understand what that means.
I wasn't the main person looking at those call detail records.
You weren't the main person with the call detail records, but you put them in the CastViz program anyway?
For the grand jury, I was requested.
Okay. What did you rely on in producing those? Producing whatever you produced for the grand jury?
Rely on What do you mean, what did I produce? As far as the AT&T records?
I want to know what you relied on to do that, to produce something for the grand jury.
What scares a narcissist the most? Narcissists are often motivated by a deep fear of being exposed or losing control. What scares them the most is a possibility of someone seeing through their facade and realizing that they are not as special or important as they believe.
I don't understand the question.
Okay. You weren't the main guy with the call detail records or with the cast viz programming. Did I understand that much right?
There was another investigator that was doing that.
Okay. But you end up involved in it somehow in April of 2023, is that right?
That's when I was asked to examine the data to provide that for the grand jury.
Okay. Was that all of your instruction?
What do you mean by that?
Well, you're asked by somebody else who's actually doing this part of the investigation in the case to produce something for the grand jury to use. And I'm curious about what you relied on, to get to that point. I want to know all the records you relied on, all of the emails, all of the conversations you relied on to produce this thing that you're not the expert for.
So I wrote the affidavit for the AT&T records, received the AT&T records. Those records were also given to another investigator who was the main investigator doing the CDR records. Prosecution then asked me to provide or create some type of visualization of the call detail records and examine the call detail records for the 4 hours in question. That.
Just to be really sure, when you talked about writing the 2 warrants for AT&T, we're talking about 2 warrants that relate to Brian Kohberger. There were a lot of other warrants. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to be really clear on that. You've taken the cast training. Is that right?
Yes.
And you know there's a way to save your session. Is that correct?
Yes.
And there's also a way just to hit reset and delete your session. Do you know that part too?
Mm-hmm.
And back in April, when you were creating something for the grand jury, you hit reset. Is that right?
What drives a narcissist mad? An unstable sense of self-esteem that makes them feel as though they are at risk of being found out can result in rage when triggered. Facing a setback or disappointment that triggers shame and shatters one's self-image can then trigger anger.
Or I just deleted the files out of it. I don't remember if I had reset or deleted. You can delete them individually as well.
You don't remember which thing you did,
I do.
but you decided to delete what you'd created.
I don't know. I didn't delete anything. I didn't create the session log, so I don't know how to delete it. You delete the reference of the file in the software, but the file itself is not deleted.
I want to make sure I understand. The record, the AT&T record still exists. You didn't delete that.
Correct.
But the session, when you put that in to the cast viz program, and it does its thing with the call detail records, which includes tower references, you either deleted that session or you chose to reset. Did I understand that right?
What infuriates a narcissist? Narcissists are highly sensitive to criticism and or perceived threat to their self-image, and they will go to great lengths to protect it. If you criticize them or challenge their dominance, you will trigger a defensive response.
Didn't create a session log. I don't know how I would delete it. I just removed the reference to the file, the main file, from the software at some point. I don't know when I did that.
You don't know when you did that?
No, you can close the software without hitting reset or delete.
And then it would just stay there.
I believe it does.
And you can also export your session if you get interrupted and you want to come back and work on it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do that? You left it up and running at some point and then did something that didn't save it. Is that right?
The session log was never created. Did not create a session log. The CDR records that I was dealing with is relatively small. There's no need to do that because I can ingest the files right back into Cascades in a short amount of time.
Your Honor, just for clarity, may I approach? I have another exhibit to show him. Familiar with the document that was handed to you that's marked Defendants W?
Yes,
And have you seen that before?
I have.
Is that something that you were taught from the CAST User's Guide?
I'm sure I was. It's also included in the software that can be readily accessed by the
Okay. And Your Honor, we'd move for admission of Defendants W.
Thank you. No objection. Okay, that exhibit W is admitted.
Thank you.
No objection.
In your training, were you also taught from the CAST Field User's Guide?
I believe so.
I'm about ready to switch gears on you and talk a little bit more about videos for a second, but if I can have just one moment, Your Honor.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, let's switch gears for just a minute. During the course of your work, did you make contact with the Idaho Department of Transportation to talk about some of the cameras that cover main roads coming into and out of Moscow?
Yes.
And did you attempt to make preservation of any items? What items did you want preserved?
I was trying to see if they had saved video or still images from those files.
What did you learn?
That they do not retain those.
Did you, when you say they do not retain those, do you mean they don't retain videos or pictures or both?
Well,
Did you do a preservation for anything?
not recall studying actually the preservation letter out.
Okay. Your Honor, if I can have another exhibit provided.
Yes, thank you.
what do you recognize that exhibit?
So these are emails that I was trying to find some kind of contact information for windy.com, a website that does weather-related information, as well as has some links to images from cameras that are covering the highway.
And did you learn that you could have some still shots preserved?
I did.
Did you have some still shots preserved?
I did not.
Okay.
How do you take power away from a narcissist? Educate yourself about NPD. 2. Build your self-esteem. 3. Advocate for yourself. 4. Enforce clear and consistent boundaries. 5. Practice skills to keep calm. 6. Find a support system. 7. Insist on immediate action, not promises. 8. Understand that a narcissistic person may need professional help.
I would move for admission of defendants PP.
Thank you. That's what, I'm sorry, PP?
Double P, yes.
That's what I thought. Okay. Exhibit PP is exhibit or admitted, no objection.
When we started talking, we talked about you kind of being the guy that would book or take videos in from different agencies, even if you didn't verify what was on the device you received. Is that right?
Yes.
And do you, I have a specific one that a couple of them I want to ask you about. One is from Red Star Coffee Shop. Do you recall receiving that video?
I did not.
Okay. And are you aware that it was hooked in or brought in by Idaho State Police?
No.
How would I find out about those videos?
I don't know. You would have to go through the USB drives to find out what was given. I was just given the mass USB drives. I was not given them by the people that were bringing them in for time. Given to them after it had been handed off to other investigators and other assistants that were helping bring copies.
Is there somebody else I should ask about specific ones to track where they went?
I don't know. I don't have that information.
Okay. All right, give me just a minute, Your Honor.
Sure.
Is word salad gaslighting? The dangers of falling victim to narcissistic word salad. For starters, this gaslighting tactic can leave you feeling confused, frustrated, and unsure of yourself. This is crazy making at its best because it leaves you questioning your own reality.
Thank you, Detective Mowrey. I don't have any other questions for now, but hold on, the prosecutor might.